Hey everybody, this is Coraline, the Rocket Mom here, and today I'm going to be interviewing Paul Counts, and he describes himself as a father, an internet entrepreneur or digital marketer, as I like to call it, a movie producer, a speaker, a podcaster, and so much more. So I'm really excited to find out more about all of this. Welcome, Paul Counts.
Hey, thank you. So glad to be here. Excited to be a part of this program, and thanks for reaching out.
Well, you've been doing this for a long time. So, first of all, congratulations on all your successes.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I've been doing it for over 21 years now. So this is my 21st year. Started in my parents' house at the age of 13. Started with actually email marketing of all things for people that were trying to buy t-shirts, custom screen print and embroidery. And then one thing just kind of led to the other. And we ended up being in a spot where we needed to have the actual website. And at that point, the owner of the company said, hey, you wanted the website. You need to learn how to market it. And from there, my internet career was born, if you will. And I haven't looked back, loved every minute of it, and just thrilled to still be doing this 20 some years later.
Wow. 13 years old. That is amazing. I have, my oldest is 16 years old right now, and the next one is 13. So yeah, that's amazing. So Paul, just for anybody who hasn't heard of Paul Counts before, maybe you could just tell us a little bit more about the man and the way you got started and so on.
Yeah. So the way I got started, so a little bit more about that side story. So I was 13 years old. I was selling t-shirts for a custom screen print and embroidery company. And to do that, we had to actually send proofs out to local schools and high schools. And I was hired just to be a junior sales representative. So I was in junior high, and I was hired just to sell t-shirts to my local school. And of course, me being the entrepreneur that I am, decided, hey, there's a lot more schools out there. So a good friend of ours, a family, and the athletic director of the school gave me a manual that had all the athletic directors in the state with their email addresses. And so he said, hey, you could reach out to different schools. So I started doing email marketing, emailing to them direct through a Hotmail email address. But way back when I was doing this, you could not send an attachment that was larger than 500 kilobytes. So I could not send proofs. So I told the owner of the company, I said, look, I'm trying to do my best, but I can't send proofs. We need to get a website so we can have a proper email. And so at that point, he actually told me, he said, hey, you got the website. We did get the website as you wanted. Now you learn to market it. And I started to research backlinking. I started doing search engine optimization way back when, and started, reaching out, doing press release marketing. He came back to me later, said, hey, you're really good at this. Why don't I refer you to a few friends of mine? And like I said, that's when things just really started to take off. And then a few years after that, I decided, okay, I can only serve one or two clients at a time. So I realized that there's a lot of money to be made if you create and launch your own products. And from there, I started creating my own courses, my own video trainings, teaching people SEO, teaching people marketing online. Through the years, in order to stay relevant, I've had to, make a lot of changes. Some people probably recognize me from the Real Guys brand, Real Guys, Real Money. We've had some great successes over at ClickBank, over on JVZoo, platinum seller on ClickBank, which means we've sold, millions of dollars over there. And then we've also had a tremendous amount of success as one of the top sellers over on JVZoo. So I've had a great career on both platforms, and I've been able to prove ourselves, in this niche market. And fast forward to today, I'm now the co-founder of a company called Marketing Counts with Shreya Banerjee, and we have the Marketing Counts podcast, and we now consult and work with clients, including state farm agents, and helping them expand their reach through the internet. And we also host our own live events. So it's been quite the journey. That's kind of the shortened version of the career, and kind of a little bit behind who I am and what I've done.
Wow, that's an amazing story. And I guess from what you're telling me, Paul, is that it's kind of like it fell on you. Like you weren't planning to do this from the very start. It's just it's based on your first job when you were 13, right?
Yeah, it was never my plan. I really did just fall into this, and it was something that just kind of fell in my lap. As a kid, I actually really wanted to be I wanted to have a job in sports. I wanted to have a career as a sports journalist, and also as as a sports broadcaster. That was kind of my ultimate goal, was to do that. And also I was eyeballing coaching at the collegiate level. And so sports was my passion. I thought that's where I was going to be. And this really just fell into my lap. And my brothers, they were either were a lifeguard at the pool, or they also drove a wheat truck in the summer. And I ended up starting to do marketing at that age because I kind of fell into it. So it was never the plan I had, but it really just fell into my lap, and just one thing led to another. And here we are 20 some years later.
Okay, so I guess when you started, Paul, what do you think? Do you think things were harder? Do you think marketing was harder, perhaps, than it is today? I mean, I know a lot of people might think that it was easier because maybe there wasn't as much competition, but things and right now things do get harder over the years. So, what do you think? What would you say? Would you agree that it was harder or easier?
Yeah, I would say it was harder because back then there wasn't as much training, there wasn't as much resources, there wasn't as much knowledge. You had to learn a lot on your own. It was a school of hard knocks. There wasn't the software that's available today. I mean, there's two schools of thought there. So there's part of me says yes, it was much harder because there was a lot more. We didn't have faster internet. There wasn't, I used to run a dial-up line from my parents. I was in a town, grew up in a town of 300 people. So I'd run a dial-up internet connection back to my room in order to do my internet stuff. So internet speeds are very slow. Technology wasn't there. Building web pages, you had to do more things manual. You had to use HTML coding. You had to learn the CSS. Now we have these amazing page builders, right, that you can just take and you have an incredible page builder and a nice landing page without having to know any coding. You can make graphics on the fly. You can outsource through companies like Fiverr on the fly, like just very quick and easy to do those things nowadays. And so, that's why I think it was more difficult back then. But then on the flip side of that, there was a lot less competition back there. Now there's a ton of competition. So you have to really have your marketing dialed in, which is, hopefully that's going to be some of the stuff we'll be talking about. You have to have your marketing dialed in. You have to have your messaging, your foundation, so that you can actually reach people today, because there is so much noise and so much competition in this day and age. Whereas back when we started, competition was a lot less. I really wish I knew kind of what I know now way back when, because I was even starting before Amazon was even getting going. So you look at some of that and you go, oh my goodness, where was I? And it's kind of wild when you look at that journey, but it's been fun throughout the process.
Wow, dial-up. Yeah, I remember those days. And HTML, yeah, you're right. I mean, there's so many tools that make things so much easier today, but then there's also more competition. So maybe, it's equally as hard, but just in a different way, So I can imagine, and I bet the internet has changed so much since you got started.
A tremendous amount. Yeah, the internet has changed so much over the last 20 some years, to the point where it's just unrecognizable. I mean, the email addresses are different. Hotmails were all popular, AOL emails, Juno emails, all the old school stuff. I just did a podcast interview recently, and we were joking about people that have AOL emails and how old those are. Now everything's Gmail, and the technology's changed. It was MySpace quite a few years ago. Now everything's, Facebook, and now Instagram's becoming the new thing. And, as a wise purchase decision by Facebook. And it's just every time you turn around, every couple years, there's something different. And I take that back. It's not every couple years. It's literally every few months. And if you're not relevant, you're going to get left behind. And now even colleges are offering digital marketing degrees, which way back when I started, that was never a thing. Colleges were like, nope, we're not going to. They didn't realize how big of a thing it's going to be. And so now they're offering digital marketing degrees to people. I mean, that's how vast and how fast the internet's changed over time. And it's only going to change at lightning speed as we move forward.
Yes, absolutely. Colleges are usually behind when it comes to any kind of internet or technology. That's true, and not just digital marketing, but even programming, computer science, and artificial intelligence. So yeah, that's why people like you and me make digital marketing courses that are sometimes better than what colleges have to offer, even though people pay, way more money to take courses at a regular college. So yes, it's always constantly evolving, and you're absolutely right. So would you say that when you first got started, Paul, that there was a whole load of challenges that you battled to overcome? Or did you find it actually quite easy when you first got started?
Yeah, it was not quite easy. It was very difficult. Probably the biggest challenges was it's really 90% mental. This business, just like any business, is 90% mental, and I can tell you that because if you're sitting there trying to build a web page and you're trying to get it correct and you're trying to set up your first site or you're trying to learn something, it takes a lot of hard work. You're going to have a lot of failures. You're going to have a lot of times where it doesn't go right. You're going to have those failures of, for everybody that visits my page, only 7 of 100 visitors are going to buy. If you have a decent conversion rate, if you have an average conversion rate, maybe 1 out of every 99 people are going to buy. So you've got a pretty high failure rate. That's hard for a lot of people to swallow. So it's a lot of it's having positive mental attitude on it. The other part is you're going to have technology hiccups. It's inevitable. Back then we had them as I was starting out. To this day, those amazing page builders that I was referring to earlier, those things fail you constantly. Sometimes technologies change, search engine algorithms change. As we do this, as you start every new year begins. So you start a brand new year, there's new changes that come out from the major platforms. We're talking Facebook, we're talking PayPal, we're talking Google, Amazon. It does not matter where you're selling. There's going to be privacy policy changes. There's going to be terms and condition changes that are going to literally set you back every single year. And so for people that are starting out today, those hurdles are going to happen. Back when I was starting, there was other hurdles. A lot of it was more, technology based and kind of a lack of a network and sphere of influence and people. But in this day and age, it's really about the major platforms, and you have to diversify. If you put all your eggs in one basket, like I know people that put all their eggs in Facebook for traffic, and that's a bad plan because Facebook at any point could shut you down. And I've really focused over the years on just focusing on one core element, and that's building my list, building my email following.
Yes, definitely. Build your email list. Pretty much every top digital marketer that I've ever studied with has said that. I mean, so maybe you could tell me right now a little bit more about your company today, what it is that you do. Tell me more about the podcast, as well as how people can find out more about you.
Yeah, definitely. So a little bit more about us. You can find information about us at marketingcounts.com. One of the things we really focus on is helping businesses grow. So we market for businesses. We help them scale their traffic through Google ads, Facebook ads. We run retargeting ads, LinkedIn ads. Really, we help businesses with their traffic campaigns. We do search engine optimization. We do SEO. We help them with organic traffic as well. We have clients that see a 650% increase in their organic traffic and rankings. We help clients get record traffic. We help them generate leads, thousands of new leads into their business, regardless of the niche market. So we serve clients everywhere from churches to companies that are just went public in the biotech medical space. And we also work with State Farm insurance agents, very popular insurance agency here in the United States. So we work with a large amount of businesses. We have experience in a variety of spaces. We've sold everything from rubber gloves to pet products to you name it, insurance and ongoing self-directed IRAs, financial, like basically to us, marketing is marketing. So we help clients generate more traffic, and we do that through our podcast, through the training. We have live events that we hold called Marketing Counts Live Events. We have another one coming up, and people can learn about us at marketingcounts.com. That's kind of our hub where they can start to learn more about the podcast. As we have new episodes, they'll be able to learn about the upcoming live events that we host. And so we do a combination of things that kind of separates us from the herd, from the traditional digital marketing agencies we all hear about. Is we like to be the ones that are training businesses in how they should hire people. So not only do we do the work for them, but we also help educate them. So if they don't work with us, they feel armed and equipped in order to go out and empowered to go hire the right company for their business. And that's something that we felt is really missing in this space. We've even done podcast episodes on, myths that digital agencies are trying to tell you and how they're trying to sucker you in to poor deals. And so our focus in our business in this day and age is helping customers and helping clients, whether they're small, whether they're big. So we have clients that have one employee, it's their solopreneurs that we're marketing for them. Or we have other companies that have hundreds and hundreds of employees that just went public. And so we run the gamut of companies that we serve and work with, and we can help anybody succeed with their marketing. We have it dialed into a system to where they can get traffic, and we can help them get traffic quickly, and we can lay out proven marketing campaigns that work extremely well for them.
That's great, Paul. And so just to put some kind of timeline on this, when did you get started online up to where you're at now with your current business?
Yeah, so when I got started online, it was 1998 was actually that first year when I was really starting to do more of this. So 1998, I was 13, starting to do the email work. And then now, and I've taken a lot of changes throughout. So from 1998, I was in junior high, I was doing the email work, the custom screen print work. Then one thing led to another where I was doing services for clients. So believe it or not, I was doing kind of what I'm doing now, which is interesting because a lot of that, some of that has stayed the same. But I'm actually doing work like I was doing many years ago. And then I transitioned into the info product space, kind of like what a lot of the readers of this magazine are going to understand more, and that's selling digital products. It's selling information online through affiliate partners, through your own traffic, through your email list. So I spent a lot of time doing that, a lot of affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing's really been my bread and butter over the years. I've been a consistent six-figure earner as an affiliate for going on 10 plus years now. That's been a big backbone of my business and has helped drive me forward. And a lot of these ventures did allow me to dabble in some fun things, such as producing 2 feature films. So I was a part of 2 feature films. One of the films still got some legal issues behind it, but I was able to kind of, put my toe in the water into another niche market and try something different. And it took a lot of, stick-to-itiveness to get to that point. And then from there, then I met my business partner, Shreya Banerjee, at a live event. And that's why we're so heavy about people attending live events. I don't care where you are in your business. I know Nick and Kate, they hold live events. And we tell people, we don't care what you're doing in your business. You need to get out from behind your computer and meet people because there's powerful things that happen with those connections. That's why we host and hold Marketing Counts live events, because it changes people's lives. And so it was going on almost about a year and a half ago, we met, started working together. Here we are now as of the time of this recording. And so over the last year or so, it's been really focusing on our foundation. And over 2020, we're really getting the kind of exploding out there in the market, if you will. And we've built up quite the clientele, a lot of amazing case studies. And that's our focus right now, is helping businesses. We're doing less of the affiliate launch game, less of promoting other products, and more helping businesses scale online and get more traffic, get more leads, get more exposure.
Yes, definitely. Live events can be super inspiring, and you get to make great connections, and it's like a support system, which is really, really important when you're an entrepreneur. So one of the interesting things that you just mentioned is about the movies, of course. I think a lot of people's ears will have pricked up about the movies you've been involved with. And it also seems to me eventually there could be a movie about your life, Paul, about your achievements. 13 years old, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. There's definitely been a lot of grit involved to get to this point, so it would make for an interesting movie, that's for sure. The movies were very interesting. That the whole movie process, that was one where I was brand new at it. We ended up going SAG, which here in the United States means the Screen Actors Guild, and those are all the actors, right, that people recognize. And so we had access to those actors. We actually had some, very successful actors and people that we actually had in this film, and we were able to get access to them. We filmed on the red cameras. We filmed it all in under 2 weeks. People in the industry said you could never make a movie. They said you wouldn't have cool locations. We were filming in downtown of major cities. We had all sorts of great shots and locations we were filming in. We completed the whole thing. Then we ran into some legal issues, which we're slowly learning. It's a learning process. But through that, it led to another connection in another film. We have another amazing storyline that we may bring to market in a few years. And like you said, it definitely is interesting that you could make a story about this. We in fact have some of our content on Amazon Prime. So our Marketing Counts content, we actually have if you type in digital marketing, we actually have a training called Digital Marketing Basics that's streaming on Amazon Prime right now as well for people. But yeah, as far as like the story goes, it would be a very interesting story about how this internet journey is and how you can make it online.
Wow, well, you've achieved so much already, and I'm sure there's still plenty to come. But what are you most proud of? Out of everything you've done so far, what would you say is your proudest achievement?
I think it's the 21 plus years. And the other part is I never really missed any major moments of my kids' lives. That was also the big part for me.
Yes, definitely. Family is so important. And that's why a lot of people get started with their own online business and with digital marketing, is so that they can have that time freedom and that location freedom. So obviously, family is very important to you. Were your family and your friends supportive of you when your initial desire to get into this space? Were they always supportive of you?
Yeah, they have. So I've been in a very unique spot where my parents have been very supportive of me. And it was, one of those where they knew I wasn't going to probably take the traditional route. I think they picked up on that. My entrepreneurial spirit started in the second grade. I used to sell pencils. So I would actually sell pencils to kids that did not come to class prepared. And my mom would actually buy pencils for me to have on supply to sell. So she's always, they've always supported my entrepreneurial habits clear back to second grade. And they've always been a part of, the crazy things I did as a kid that wasn't normal. I was a ball boy at Washington State University, so a major college here, that actually is had a successful football program when I was working there. And it was a lot of fun. Worked on the sidelines there, and just something just unique. I was from a small town, and my parents would drive 2.5 hours for me to, go work on the sidelines there. And I was doing just this entrepreneurial business stuff. They were supportive of making sure I had the proper internet, and they never, questioned what I was doing majorly. And so I always had a good support system. And I know, unfortunately, it's not the case for everybody. It's sometimes people, it's very common. I've witnessed it over the 20 years, people trying to get going. Maybe their spouse doesn't fully support them, or their partner doesn't, or their close family friends, they might mock them or think it's funny. But I've been fortunate in that regards. And, but the thing is that you just have to keep pushing. If you have the passion to do it, even though people might laugh at you or think you're silly or think it's crazy, you just have to keep at it. And to me, consistency counts. If you're consistently doing something, consistently making a step of action towards your business every single day, then you're going to see results that start to pay off. So sometimes it's hard for people to see those payoffs or to understand. Like, for example, even this interview is a great example where I'm doing an interview here and somebody might say, well, are you getting paid for this interview? And it's, you could say, no, or for another interview that I may do. And they say, well, no, I'm not getting paid directly, because to some people, they just think everything should have a financial transaction behind it. But it's all about laying the groundwork for future things, right? So somebody's going to read about Paul Counts. They're going to read about Marketing Counts in the future, and they're going to come to marketingcounts.com and maybe do business with us because of something that resonated with them from what I did during this interview. And so those are the things where you're going to have people that are going to question what you're doing sometimes. Even if you're laying the foundation for your business, they might say, well, that's crazy. Why are you investing the money here? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? They're going to question every step. And you just have to keep sticking to it. I've been fortunate that I've had a very good support system starting out, and it just kind of built up to where I am today.
Yes, that is absolutely true. What you say about doing interviews and being out there, being visible. It's almost like you're making an investment into your own business because just like in an investment, you don't get the rewards immediately, but over time. And so when you do an interview, those rewards do start to come through, but over time. So yeah, I think that's really good advice, Paul. So that leads me into my next question, I guess, which is what would you say to somebody who is just starting out, and how would you encourage them to get started?
Yeah, I would encourage people really to get started. There's a lot of noise out there if you're trying to start a business. And so what I would tell people, the major advice I would say is if you're out there struggling to discover your niche market and go, what is it that I should be selling online? Now, most of you listening, you probably already know what you're passionate about, what you should be selling. And I know a lot of people that are trying to get into the internet marketing space, they think to themselves, well, I'm just going to go sell internet marketing products. And that to me is just so wrong because it's a very saturated market by itself. And I tell people like follow whatever you are passionate about, whatever makes you tick, try to sell that product. But at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be something you're passionate about either. It could be something that makes you money. And this is the big soapbox thing for me is I really don't care what it is I'm selling. As long as I can look, my parents in the eye, my grandma, and tell them what I sell online, I'm okay with that. And so I tell people it doesn't matter. And a great business case study of this is the person that developed the toilet bowl handles. He's not passionate about toilet bowl handles. He's passionate because that makes his family a lot of money because he devised the technology that makes money. There's companies that sell just some of the most ridiculous, mundane things like door handles and custom door handles. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not anything majorly exciting, but it makes people a lot of money. So you don't have to start a business and start out online. It does not have to be a passion project. Some people are going to tell you and steer you the wrong way and say, it's got to be your passion. If you are passionate about it, great, then you know which step to go. But if it's not, you just need to get over that. But the first thing that I tell people is just start. You have to start somewhere. That you can get paralyzed by not starting. The biggest mistake I made, by far the biggest mistake that has cost me, I could safely say millions of dollars, was I did not start building my foundation, which is my email list and my audience. So at Marketing Counts, we teach people the 3 pillars of your internet business. We teach people your foundation, we teach people your traffic, and we teach people your engagement strategy. The foundation piece is it's your website, it's how you're generating leads, how you're getting people into your purchase process, how you're getting people to understand who you are and what your business does. And so for us, we focus now, everything's on the foundation. So I don't care what niche market you're going in, capture people's information. That could be, in most cases, it's going to be the name, phone number, email address. In some cases, it may just be the email address. And I tell people all the time, I don't care what year you're listening to this recording, and it is still going to be relevant. Email marketing is still going to be relevant because at the end of the day, you own your email list. It took me over 8 years before I decided to build my email list. You own your email list, and that is an asset that you own. You do not own the fans on your Facebook page. At any point, Facebook could shut you down. At any point, Google Ads could shut you down. At any point, any of these major companies could change their terms and conditions, pull the plug on you. If you're focused on that for your business, you are going to fail. And so what I encourage people to do is really focus extremely hard on building an email list, building an email following, and then that way you can really grow and expand. And so whatever niche people get into, build that foundation, come up with something to give away, something of value. It could be a coupon code if you're a local business owner. The reality is, I'm not here to tell you to go start an internet business. If you have a passion for something, just get started and every single day make a small step of action towards that business. When I really successfully launched my business and went full time, I was actually going to college at the time. I was newly married and I was working the only job that I ever held. So it was the only job that I ever held, but I still managed to start my business to the point where I could actually, quit it completely, but before I was even done with college, and was able to sustain and support a family. And so I was doing all that with the same 168 hours everybody else had in the day. But I had everything against me. I was working a job that was working me to death. They were having me work. It was a job in sports, so I thought I had my dream job, right? That was wrong. I was working 60 to 80 hours per week at working in sporting events. I was also going to college online full time at Washington State University, and I was newly married. Still managed to start my business because I was consistent with the time that I put towards my business. Even if it was a half hour here, 15 minutes there, I was consistent. And then suddenly revenue started to come in. Things started to happen. I could spend maybe a couple hours here. I had a window of opportunity here. And then that's when things really started to pick up. So that's the advice I would give people is make small, consistent steps of action, shut down all those excuses you have. Like people are going to always, excuses are going to happen. You're going to say, this happens. There's no better time to start than right now because there's never going to be the perfect time in life. If you wait for the perfect time, you're never going to start.
And I bet you can remember as well, Paul. I bet you can remember the time you made your very first dollar online and the feeling that you got when that first dollar came through.
Absolutely, yeah. I definitely can remember it. And it was, selling a shirt order, and it was selling it via email, and that was a very exciting process. And then I remember the first time I made my commissions with eBay Partner Network, first time making my first ClickBank sale, first time making my first PayPal sale. So like all the first, you still remember those. I still get giddy and excited when I launch a product and make my first product sale, whatever product I'm launching, even to this day. And when I close a new client, it's exciting because you've worked hard to get to that point. You've worked hard to close that deal, and you should give yourself small rewards. I think that's a big part of making yourself not go crazy. Sometimes we think, I'm not making six figures a year yet. I'm not making, $10,000. I haven't made $10,000 online yet. Well, celebrate that $50, celebrate that first sale, celebrate whatever it is, those small victories, because then those small victories, as you celebrate them, you're going to feel good, and it's going to lead to bigger wins.
Yes, that's what it's all about. Now that's great, Paul. So what's next for you? What are you working on next?
Yeah, so the next thing we're really focused on is just taking our brand to that next level. And we are really just expanding marketing counts. We're expanding our team. We're expanding where our reach is. We're expanding the podcast, the Marketing Counts podcast. And we're really just trying to just take things to that next level. One of the core ways we're doing that is through our Marketing Counts Club, which is a monthly membership where people can come into the club, ask us questions twice per month, and they're able to get some live answers from myself and my business partner. And so that club has given us the ability to scale and reach as many entrepreneurs as we can under one roof in one club. And so we're excited for that. And we're going to be focusing hard on a couple new events we're doing in 2020 and future years to come. So the events and the club are two of the things that Marketing Counts we're really focused on.
Wow, sounds like exciting times are ahead. I'm definitely going to be telling my children about you and how you got started, since you got started, when you were around their age. My son, he wrote a few books already. He wants to be a fiction author, and he's 16, and he's building his own website, and he's learning digital marketing as well. And so I think he'll be really encouraged with your story. And actually, I know someone else too, someone that I met on Facebook and did business with. He helped me with some Facebook ads as well. He got started when he was 15, and he is, I think he's in, I want to say, I forgot if it's Australia or New Zealand. Chiron Grant. He's a really brilliant young man. He's not 15 anymore, but he's still younger than me, so I call him young man. So an amazing story, just like yours. How he got started at age 15, and he met with tremendous success. So anyways, thank you so much for your time today. We really do appreciate it. And just to recap, how can we find out more about you?
Yeah, so you can visit us online at marketingcounts.com. So that's marketingcounts.com. And counts is Counts, just like it sounds. So that's marketingcounts.com. And you can get all the latest updates on what we're doing. We're constantly updating our website and kind of making it the foundational piece for our business and our brand.
I really like that. Marketingcounts.com. Marketing Counts with Paul Counts. Thank you so much for being with me today on this interview.